All right, welcome back to another
Yes.
episode of Behind the Veil with Bonesy and Conscious Evolution.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get the view right.
The
Thank
elusive
you for
bone.
joining us here today, guys. We love each and every one of you. Please like, share, subscribe with like-minded individuals. If you're feeling the vibe, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Also, go
My
over to
channel.
Bonesy's channel and subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. So, how you doing, brother, man? We haven't talked in a while. It's been
Right.
too long.
It has been too long, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. You've been in the
Yeah, I mean,
mountains where you ain't got much.
now there's really not much anything out there.
Yeah.
Um, and the internet's kind of slow too. The best they have is like 4G, which was all right. You know, we were able to stream live on Jessica's channel and stuff, which was good. Um, but yeah, we're definitely going to find a better alternative for what that was. But you know, it'll all work out. I have no doubt. So
Right.
yes, today we want to talk about my vision quest and the synchronicities and craziness and how everything has happened this whole summer. Really, I mean, this whole last year, I guess, has been a vision quest for me since the start of this journey. But really, since like July, it's really been an intense experience.
Right.
From moving out to California, those that have followed my channel, you kind of know the story. I've been talking about it, and you know, you followed my travels. I've been traveling a lot this past year too, but it started in we went to Indiana when we went to Wolf Creek when we're starting our little our spiritual retreat that we're starting. We went down there to do that, and I met up with Bonesy again, and we met with Ed and Sherry, and that was a really good time. And from there,
Yes.
I went to California and spent about a month, 5 weeks, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks out there, and then started heading back east. So I had to leave quickly, and I started driving from California back to the East Coast, and that led me to I knew someone that was in Phoenix. So I went there for a couple of days, hoping to meet up with them, and that didn't work out. You know, the timing wasn't right. So I went to Sedona, and the synchronicities that led me there was pretty intense. That that like the night I went to sleep the night before, and I was like, I want to visit because I was like really thinking, what do I want to do on this trip? What am I doing? What do I want to experience? I don't want to just drive straight across the country and just, you know, A to B. I want to, you know, I'm
Right.
out here. These are things I'm probably not going to be back for a long time, or if ever, you know, like what do I want to do? So I set that intention. I wanted to experience vortexes of the earth, energy vortices.
Right.
So, you know, Sedona's been on my mind for a while, and I've
I
felt
was gonna
drawn.
say, yeah, we talked about Sedona and Joshua Tree and different
Hmm.
places while you were there. I was like, hit them, you know. So that was in the conversation, and then of course before that, I think Case had talked about it a little bit too. So that was definitely on the tip of our tongues. That Sedona,
Yeah,
which I got to
yeah,
get there. I'm
and
happy for you, man.
thank you. Yeah, it was a great experience. I do want to go. I will go back. When wherever I was, I think it was in California or wherever. I looked up Sedona from there, and it was 444 miles away. I was like, all
That's
right,
it.
synchronicities are starting heavy now. And
There we
then,
go.
you know, it's like all day, every day, I'm getting all my numbers, you know, 11, 11, 333, 222, 444, 555. It's like I'm seeing them all day long, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and it's still that way. It's like intense. It's very intense. But, you know, I
Yes.
think that's like confirming of your alignment, you know, it's like showing you that you're aligned.
Yes.
And also another interesting thing was that my like crown chakra, my head was tingling the entire trip. Like driving, being there, it's like always like a hell of an activation almost is what I think it is. But until I got back to the East Coast, it was like that. And even still, it's kind of intermittent now. It's on and off, but it,
Right.
it's crazy. But so yeah, I went to Sedona. Woke up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Sedona. Let's check out what's there. And I ended up coming across this guy on YouTube, and I contacted him, sent him messages, and started driving to Sedona. And I met with him like 2 hours after I got there, and we went on this
Is that Raleigh or?
yeah, Rogelio.
Rogelio, yeah.
And then we took that tour, and then went to his house. We did the sweat lodge, and it was a powerful experience, an interesting experience. Just on the fly, just drove out there with no plans, just letting spirit guide me.
Yeah,
And
that's the shit, man. That's how much better does it? I mean, how much better does it get?
yeah,
Think about it. And you're completely alone with your thoughts. That in itself, being there completely alone.
yeah,
I mean, how often does somebody really get to experience that, to sit with yourself in such a place and to just meditate, go within and just, absorb and become one with the earth and the sky and the universe, just envelop it. Yeah, man, that's the shit. I'm happy for you. That's
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. Another synchronicity was the money it cost to do both of those things, the guided tour and the sweat lodge and the sound healing stuff, was the exact amount of money that I had. It was like
Yeah.
the exact. It was like I had $2 more than what I had that it cost. I was like, that's all right. I guess that's what we're doing today.
Yep.
um, so yeah, I did that, hung out with a few days, and Rahili is a shaman, so that was really cool to hang out with him. I got to hang out with him again because I asked him if I could post the videos that I had taken during our experience there, and he was like, "Yeah, but can I see him first?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we set up a time, and we ended up all getting back together with the girls that were also on the tour and did the sweat lodge. So we all got together and we went out to have lunch, and then he let me do a little interview like on the fly, kind of sitting in the river. That was awesome. Everything has been awesome from that experience. But anyways, from there, I really wanted to go like to Colorado or to the Four Corners and experience that, but it's like the money situation wasn't there for that, so I didn't feel like that was a smart move. So from there, I just head to your house
Yeah.
and spent
Yeah.
3 days driving there. That
Yep.
was an interesting experience. I'd never driven so much in my life. Like I think it was like 30 hours or something, 26 hours or 30 hours from Sedona to your house. And
Yeah. It's no joke, man. That's not
booked it.
that's a hell of a drive. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So then I got there and we did that. Went to that spiritual camp. That was I can't remember what it was
Yeah,
called.
that was cool.
Um,
Chesterfield.
Chesterville. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was intense. That was intense. And then
Yeah, me and her, when we went there the first time, see, and I was telling you about this, she's had her little awakening here in the last few months, and she's
right.
going through the synchronicities, the same kind that I'm going, all kinds of shit, man. And she's in that spirit realm where she's seeing and hearing stuff.
Mm,
But she guided us there, and it was like magical. The first time we went, I couldn't believe it. There's all the everybody from Zarathustra to just all the characters, Muhammad, all these guys. I've been reading on a lot of these guys, Nietzsche, just different philosophers and different spiritual people. And there they are. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what? What? This has been here this whole time. But it
yeah.
was so cool how she guided us, how synchronicities there, how that led us to that, because that was a weird kind of a deal. But yeah, go ahead, man. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
you're good. I love that you.
this place is crazy, ain't
It is. It's like right in the middle of Indiana, like
it? Yeah.
fuck Indiana, and all of a sudden there's this awesome spiritual camp, like, and it was what, like 15 minutes from the house or something, like it wasn't
Yeah.
far, and you've been there the whole. It's like that's awesome. That
They
was a
have
cool
big
experience.
they have big events there too. Like just September 21st, they had what's called the Spirit Fest. I mean, tarot readers and healers and clairvoyant audio, all these people come together from everywhere. It's a big deal. I mean, that place, and it's sacred ground. You can feel it. I know you can
Awesome.
feel that
Oh
shit.
yeah. Oh, you
I
can
mean,
definitely feel the energy.
it was when the Native Americans were there that it was sacred ground then. And Mounds is just where the other place where they built the mounds that I had you go. That's just a mile or two up, a few miles up the road there.
Yeah. Yeah, that place is
So
awesome. Yeah, that's where we did our show at.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff right there, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Right here, yeah.
So, yeah, with that they had that energy, or that wheel, that healing wheel. Remember, we walked around, the stones were laid out. I really like that. I'd never experienced
Yeah.
that before. That was cool.
Well,
That was
did you
cool.
read? Did you read the article I sent you? You're supposed to take your shoes off, and at every turn, it's like that's a meditation walk, bro. You start with intentions, and there's certain areas in there where you stop and you meditate for a second on certain things that you want to happen in your life, and then you go around to the next. And there's certain areas in there where you stop. I sent that. Yeah, I sent that to you. It's like a certain kind of it's like an active meditation where you literally are acting and walking in a certain direction to create your own vortex. You're creating your own energy vortex with points. See, so you're creating this where you create these points, and then you create this vortex that you sand up, like this. It's kind of deep, man. When you read about it, it's like, oh hell, we did it wrong. You come back, we'll do it right, man. We'll go there and do it right.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. I've been doing a little bit more of like walking meditations. I like that. It's more of like a visualization. You visualize like being a giant or dragon or king or queen, what have you, and then you just imagine all the people that you're interacting. Like I just pretend I'm walking through a city or something, but I'm walking out in the middle of nowhere. But it's cool. You just embody that personality or that character, and you just have fun with it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It just, helps you, makes you think a different way, which is kind of the.
Let's get back to your story. So you drive to Indiana. We go.
All right. Yeah. So, yep. Drove to Indiana. We just spent a couple days there. And yeah, we went to that spiritual camp. You and I did some guided meditations together. That was cool. We did that at the camp too. And so from there I went to Ed and Sherry's, which is in Cincinnati. It was about 2 hours away. So, oh yeah, this is a funny story. So I left your house and started driving, and I was on the back roads, and I was doing a healing session with somebody, as I'm driving, just doing a healing session. And I hit this part of the road where it went from like 55 to like 25 or 35 or something like that. Yeah, it was 35. So like I saw it, and I just, I let off the gas and started slowing down. And of course there's a cop right there. And he clocks me at like 41 miles an hour and pulled me over. Like 41 and 35. I was like, fuck. All right, here we go. So I'm still doing this healing session, right? And I was like, this cop is putting himself into my reality. So I'm guessing, and I just was like, I guess he needs some healing too. So we're just going to go ahead and send that to him as well. He's inserted himself into my world right now. He's being attracted to this. He doesn't want to give me a ticket. He's not really pulling me over to give me a ticket. And then he comes over and he's like, license registration. I give him registration to the car, which is, in California. My license was Pennsylvania. It's like, everything's all jumbled up, and it was like, where are you headed? I'm like, I don't know, maybe to Maryland at some point. I was like, I know, dude. I'm just like a mixed bag. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a really interesting situation I got myself into here.
Right.
And, so he started laughing, and then he went back to his car. And this the whole time I'm sending the energies, and I'm just saying, I'm like, dude, you don't want to give me a ticket. Like, you really don't want to do that. Like, that's not part of my story. That's not part of my quest right now to get a speeding ticket in fucking Indiana. Fuck that. Yeah. Like, I'm not coming back here for court,
Yeah.
So he came back in less than 5 minutes, and he just gave me a warning, and he just told me to not speed basically. And I was like, oh man, bless your heart, that's awesome. Like, thank you so much. Like, that's really cool of you. And and we went on our way, and that was that. It's just perfect. It's like, you do create your reality. And I'm just sitting there saying, like, you don't want to do that. Like, you don't
right.
You just wanted the healing. You just needed a little bit of healing, brother. And he got it.
Yep.
So
he probably did.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So then I got to Ed and Sherry's, and I slept. I was beat, man. I was going. I guess I was almost 2 weeks into it, I think, at that point, by the time I got there. And I spent a week at Ed and Carrie's house just relaxing. It was really kind of waiting for things to align for me to continue my journey, because it was kind of like a standstill where I didn't have any money, and I was just tired. I didn't really feel like doing anything. I just wanted to just chill and be a bum for a couple days. And I did.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that was like recharging the batteries for the second leg or the second half of this journey, which still isn't over. And it's unbelievable, really. That is still
Yeah.
going. But anyways, so I spent a week there, and I was gonna go back to Maryland, back to my brother's house, and that's what I was planning on doing. So I sent out a text to Brian Divisions. I'm like, dude, I might be able to come through there. Like, that's my last thing. Maybe I can do that. I wanted to go to Florida too, but there was a hurricane coming through at the time, and I'm like, and I was just kind of tired. I wanted to go back to my brother's, or go home and get my life together, I guess you could say, or get something established and back on track with finances. But another thing I just wanted to say real quick, that the amount of love and support I got from all my subscribers and the people that follow my channel, that saw those videos, is just unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally had no money. Well, I had like $200 when I left California, and I don't know how much I got in donations, but I was able to do everything that I wanted to do going across the country.
That's so
pay
awesome.
for gas, and I stayed in a bunch of hotel rooms, like $40 a night hotel rooms, nothing fancy, but I was able to have a bed and a shower and coffee. Like it was a great experience, and I only slept in my car like a handful of times, which was more by choice than anything else, or because the hotels were like $100 or something. But I wouldn't have been able to do it without y'all's help, without all the subscribers and people that are just the donations and everything. So I love you guys so much, and thank you again for that. So yeah, I was getting ready to go back to Maryland, and Brian Divisions responded to me. He's like, "Yeah, dude, come through." It just happened to be like the day I got there, like he was available, because he's a busy dude. It's like wedding season right now, and he's a videographer. He shoots weddings, so that's what they do. But I don't remember what day of the week it was. It just happened to be he was free, so we linked up and we hung out. We went out he showed me downtown Asheville, and we hung out, and I crashed at his crib that night, and it was just super cool how it all worked out. And then the next day I did some healing stuff, some light entrainment healing things down in Nashville at this place. And it was just a really neat experience. And I don't want to get into that too much. So from there, I ended up linking up with Jessica. So I was heading home, and it was like, I wanted to go home. You know what I mean? I was like, I was tired. I was like, I need to go home and sleep, or just get shit together, whatever. But then I started heading, because we had been talking for a couple of weeks, and I was saying like we should get. I wanted to go to Florida just to visit her and see the beach and like see some beach. I hadn't seen any beach this whole trip, so I wanted to do that, but like I said, the hurricane didn't work out. But then the next week there was a set of circumstances that just kind of brought it all together. You know what I mean? It was like, no, the timing's not right. This isn't right. I'm going to be here. You're going to do this. Like everything just wasn't working out. And then all of a sudden it just came into perfect alignment. And I went to Florida, picked her up, and we started heading back to North Carolina, back to Asheville, because we're both feeling called to the mountains. I was called to the mountains. I went to the mountains in California, and then I still want to be in the mountains. It's in Asheville is such a beautiful place. It's so, like, people go there for two reasons, like either for the spiritual stuff or for the microbreweries. Like those are the two reasons people go to Asheville.
Yeah, if you go back a little bit, to the Wolf Creek thing, where you, I, and Kim, Africa, and Sherry and had all met, had started to discuss this little thing we're trying to put together. And as we had our video comp, we would, when we get together once every week or two, and we would have these conferences. And Asheville kept coming into the conversation. Remember that? We kept talking about it. Somehow they had a connection because the Interlight Visions is it Interlight Journeys. Interlight Journeys, right? Or is Visions? Yeah, which one is it? Journeys. Yeah. They have one there in Asheville, so they would discuss that. And they said they were going to go through there, and that'd be a good place for this night. Well, then I told you guys, well, I know some people in Asheville. So I sent them my buddy Gary. I had sent Ed and Sherry, they were supposed to be going through there to check out this other Interlight journey. And so, I sent him because he has a vacation house, and another friend of mine named Sean has a vacation house there too. They just built them in the last few years. Well, anyway, so sent him that information, and I had talked to Gary, and to get that information, I said, hey, what's your website for that place? And, by the way, do you know of any places that are cool for glamping? Or because we had talked about running a trial run, a smaller venue soon. That's what was in the discussion at the time, that we was going to do a little bit smaller, downscale it, not quite the one that we had envisioned, kind of like a trial run, see how it ran through.
Right.
And anyway, do you know anybody who has any kind of glamping? Because glamping was one of the things we had talked about, a little better than camping, but not quite a B&B type of thing. He's like, well, yeah, I know this cat that he starts telling me the story how him and Marcus had known each other 20 years ago, and he had just come there and started building his house. Well, Marcus was there. He had done moved there. And anyway, so he tells me about Mark. So I contact Mark, and me and this cat hit it off. And I'd brought him into the conversation, but it wasn't going to work out because we was going to do it in January when we wanted to go south.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, as I'm talking to this dude, and you're telling me that you're going back, I just keep thinking, man, I need to introduce, you guys need to know each other, because, I just know that you're going to hit it right off, like me and you hit it off, me and him hit it off. I know you and him are going to hit it off. So that's how, you got to meet that cat. I mean, but that's so strange how, and I didn't know how to approach him on it. I didn't want to say, hey, man, there's this dude who's like bumming around the country. He ain't got no place to stay. You want to give him a meal and a place to stay. I didn't want to put it like that. And I was like, you need to meet this dude. He's good people. And he's on the same quest that we're on, because he's enlightened, and he's, going through his awakening, and he's on the same path we're on. And I'm like, dude, and his wife, April, girl, she just got on board here a year or two ago. She's going through her awakening deal. And I was like, man, you need to meet this cat. And I said, and he's hooked up with this chick named Jessica, who's got her own channel. She's going through this same path, and she does tarot card readings and healings and inner child stuff. And I said, man, you guys you ought to just meet this dude, And he's like, hell yeah. He was real receptive. He's like, where is he? Tell him, come on. He was excited, So it was cool, man. I was so I was just so happy. I was so happy for both of you, because I know he's like, and he had talked to me. He don't hang out with a lot of people that think like this. The people he does hang out with, they don't really understand like we do, So I know he was glad to have somebody who's on that path right there where you can just bounce shit off each other, Yeah, but that was so cool how that, and I keep thinking of how everything's connected. Like if I wouldn't have met Ed and Sherry, we hadn't talked about that thing, you would have never met him, which I know you're going to go back there, and I know that when me and Kim come that way, you're already going to have a place that this whole thing is unfolding, just like it's supposed to, man. As long as everybody keeps following their synchronicities and keeps following that voice and keeps going on, nobody puts a halt to it. It's going to be fucking bad as hell. In 5 years, I don't know what we're going to have. I think it's going to be sweet. Some kind of resort, some kind of, I don't know what we'll have. I don't know. A healing center, just even if it's just a few little cabins for people to come to. But
yeah, man.
Because those mountains those are made of quartz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That shit right.
Yeah, there's tons of energy out there, and it's like the water's coming down every mountain. The water's so pure. I mean, we were drinking spring water out of the ground the whole time we were there.
Oh, where can you do that?
So
Where can
good.
you do that?
Exactly. I mean, literally drinking out of the hose. It's tapped into the spring. It's like a little pump.
Yeah.
You turn it on and just tapping spring water right there, man.
Oh, man.
It's cold. It's fresh. It's fucking pure, man. It's healthy.
Yeah.
And it's alive. It's still got that feminine or Mother Earth life force in it. It's not been, put through chemicals and filters and all this other shit. It's alive. You're drinking that life force energy directly from the source.
It's got memory in it too, man.
Yeah, man. It's like, yeah, and that with my diet changes, I'm in ketosis now, so I'm on the keto diet, so I'm no longer eat any carbs or sugar, so my body's not running on that as fuel anymore. It's burning its own body fat, essentially. The ketones in your body. I run on fat now, so I eat a lot of fat, high quality fat foods. But like I haven't eaten anything yet today, and I'm not even really hungry yet. Like I eat once or twice a day, and then I'm good. I don't get hangry anymore. You know what I mean? You don't really burn out so much. It's a constant flow of energy, and I'm in like the best shape that I've been in since I was.
Well, you do the what's called an intermittent fasting with that keto diet, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't have to, but that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, you go about 16 to 18 hours with nothing but water. I mean, nothing but water. Yep. And then for those 6 hours, dude, you can eat anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
That's what we try to do. We eat both our meals. If we eat twice, we eat between like 12 and 6. And that's it. We won't eat again till the next day. So one day we went like 22 hours or something without eating, and just had water and probiotic shakes and stuff. Like it's really changed. It's different, like we're so used to eating carbs and sugar and bread, but there's so many other ways. Like I didn't do it before because it's like so much to learn and it's like a lot to do, but Jessica's done that research and she knows it very well. So it's been a really easy transition for me. It really has, but I feel great, dude. None of my clothes fit anymore. None of them. Like I don't know how much I weigh. When I came out there,
you look skinnier.
Yeah, I want to weigh myself. But when I went out there the first time, when I met you the first time and out to Indiana, when I did that truck driving thing, I had to get that DOT physical. So when I had that, I was like 185 pounds, I think, 185 to 190. And that's the first time I've been under 200 pounds in years. You know what I mean? Like, I was probably 23 or 4 years old. So almost 10 years. Yeah, it's about 10 years probably. Yeah. I've been over 200 pounds, and and I didn't even realize I had went under 200 pounds. And I was like super excited for that.
If you don't mind me asking, what's the biggest you've got?
I was at 265, 270 pounds.
Oh, that's pretty plump, yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Because you're only about 5'10", aren't you?
Yeah, 5'9", 5'10", somewhere in there. So yeah, 265 pounds was massive. I couldn't hardly tie my shoes and put my socks on. I couldn't barely walk up the steps. Like I was out of breath, like just done. So
you're probably at $175, $185 now, I bet.
I don't know. I think I'm probably around like 165, 175.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm a lot smaller than when I was there a couple weeks ago. And now, like,
wow,
none of the shit fit. I just got rid of a bunch of clothes. Like the clothes I was wearing, earlier this year don't even fit me anymore. It's like I just shrunk. Like I shrunk right back down. Like I like it though. Like
you need some new shirts for your video. You need new shirts anyway.
Yeah, I do.
When you was on your runabout, you had like 5 shirts.
Yeah, I know. I got some more. I got a couple more. Even though I'm still wearing the same shit, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I keep them clean though. I keep them clean.
I knew you was. I've been seeing that you've been getting T-shirts, so I knew you was buying new shirts.
Yeah.
I knew you was growing out, or shit was you was getting smaller or whatever.
Yeah, man. Goodwill's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
And We get back to the story. I picked Jessica up and we started driving, and we drove to North Carolina in like 2 days. You know, we took our time. We weren't in a hurry or anything, and we got to North Carolina, and we stayed in a couple hotels, and we had some issues with like credit cards and things being misplaced or what have you. Um, but we got through it all. But we did this. We stayed in a hotel for like 3 nights, I think it was. We found a nice, cheap hotel out there, and by the when we did that, like the second day we were there, I met up with Mark because you had given me his number and we had talked about it, and I started texting him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, let's get together, let's go on a hike and talk." You know what I mean? Let's get to know each other a little bit. So I set that
Yeah.
up. I went by myself. You know, Jessica stayed back. She was resting and she was doing videos for her channel, really, but you know, get that alone time. So I went out on this hike with them and met them, and that was a wild story in itself. I think I talked about it on one of my videos, but we met up.
Yeah.
We went to this place which is right down the street from their house, that mountain where we were staying. And the day before, Jessica and I had actually driven out to that same exact location and actually drove way past it, up the mountain and down to the waterfall we went to. But he took me to the caves was a lot closer, but it's the same area. Like I couldn't believe the first place I was drawn to go to was where he lived. Like before I even talked to him, it was wild. And then the next day I'm meeting up with them, and we go right there. And there's a whole other trail that has there's like cabins in the woods. It's like mostly for like spiritual people and things like that. Like they're cabins like out in the woods, in the mountains.
Yeah.
And the streams
Right.
running down, dude. There's streams on every like mountain. It seems to be. It's just, and there's always like so many little waterfalls. A couple
Yeah.
feet here, a couple feet. They're so breathtakingly beautiful. And I didn't know that the
That's I love that stuff.
yeah, I didn't know that the forests out there are considered rainforests in Asheville. All those
Really?
all of it's considered a
I
certain
knew
type
that.
of rainforest. It's that moist. It's that wet there all the time. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah, super beautiful. So, anyways, I meet up with him in April, and we go on a hike, and we're talking about. He's very intelligent, a very knowledgeable person, very high IQ, and he knows a lot about a lot. Especially like the rocks and the quartz and the properties of crystals and things like that. He was telling me all these things. It was fascinating, but it was all relevant to that area and being a rainforest, and all the quartz crystals that are there and how it was formed and how that's different from everywhere else on the planet, basically. And just adding to the magical properties of this fucking place, dude, is mind blowing. It was such a mind blowing experience all the way around. So we're hiking out. We check out this cave. There's one little cave there, and then we hung out. As soon as we get there, we sit down and we start talking a little bit, and it starts pouring down raining. So I was like, oh, perfect. Well, we're in this cave. Like we can just chill out here. So we did. It rained for like 20, 30 minutes, like downpoured rain, and then. And then after it stopped, we went out and moved on, kept going down the path. Well, they didn't know there was another cave down at the end of this path. So we kept walking, and it forked again. We're like, okay, which way do we go? We made a decision, and boom, there's another massive cave. It's like a cathedral. It's like a stage almost. It's like you walk up, there's like this little wall right there, and then behind it there's like little stones that are laid out for like benches and beds, it looks like. And it's just like a massive opening that you can see like a fire pit right in the middle of it. And we're like, dude, just like I can see the fire here with like a shaman chanting, healing shit, and we're having healing ceremonies. And there's a dude laying there. We got there. There's a dude that's already laying inside this thing. And he's like, he lifts his head up. He's like, oh, yeah, that absolutely happens here. And we're like, wow. Like, so we start talking to this guy, and he was there that day because that cave has changed his life. Like he had with one of these ceremonies, he was with a shaman and a group of people, and had these ceremonies. And when he left his life behind, I think he was from Rhode Island. He came down here like 4 years ago, and it was the wife and kids and all that shit. I think he left all that behind. Kind of similar circumstances to my story.
Yep.
Um, he just had to get away, and it was really toxic, and it was just killing him. Well, he had just went back to that, and and came back to Asheville, and he right before he met him, he was like skinny dipping in the lake or that little stream that was going by, and then he walked up to the thing. So I'm like, I'm glad you had your clothes on when we met. That's cool. But we talked for like probably like an hour in the cave, just chilling there in the woods and exploring a little bit. And then we all went out to this pizza joint. Another synchronicity coming up. Beware. We went to this pizza place that they really like in town there, and it was really really good pizza. That was the last carbs that I ate, by the way. And it was really good. So we went there, and Ed, the guy's name in the cave was Ed. So it was Ed, Mark, April, and myself went to this little tiny pizza joint with great pizza. And the waitress came over, and we just started telling them, like, we just met in the cave, and now we're here eating pizza. I was like, yeah, we just met here. We just met this all like came together, just telling that story, like how everything is just come together in this magnificent way, and how we're all just here sharing a pizza right now. Like,
Isn't that crazy, man?
it's wild. So the next synchronicity, there was a guy performing at this pizza shop. His name was Ben, and Mark and April were like big fans of him. They see him there a lot, and he performs there like weekly, I think it is. The guy's a good musician. He does like a little beatbox on the mic, and he has a loop machine, so he loops the beatboxing, and then he adds in the other instruments, and then he sings on it. It's really cool to watch. And it's his own shit. He makes his own songs, and it's I'll have to find a link and send it to you. Maybe I'll put it in the video if I remember. Let me write that down. So yeah, I listened to him a little bit. We're still talking. We're eating the pizza. Everything's good, and then we all get each other's information and part ways. So he's there on a work trade. This guy I met. So he's on a different property, and he knew the owner of the property where Mark and April stay. He had worked there on that property as a work trade before Mark and April got there. So that was the synchronicity between them, and they knew a lot of the same people, and the same circles with all those a lot of different property owners down there, which is pretty wild.
So did you guys tie in with Ben, the musician, or did he?
So that's a different part. So later that week, Brian Divisions had his performance. The one I helped him set up for, and I got that video of him performing. It was like a sound check. That was so cool. So we actually made it to that performance. That was so cool. I was so happy. So Jessica and I went to that, and before the performance, we got there a little early, and they were still setting up. And Brian came out and started talking to us, and he was with this guy, Ben. He introduced us to Ben. I was like, dude, I just saw you performing at the pizza shop. I was like, how cool is that? He's like, yeah. Man. So I got to talking to him, and I got his information, and we shared our YouTube channels, all of us. And I might be.
So Ben's got a YouTube channel then.
Yeah, he's got a small YouTube channel. He hasn't really done a lot with it, but he's got some good songs recorded on there of him like performing.
Yeah, I want to link that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, his name is Ben Vaughn.
I do the loot. I do loot box shit too.
Yeah. I thought you would really enjoy that. But yeah, his name is Ben Vaughn. I think it's Phan. I'll have to check on that. I'm writing it down. Hopefully I'll remember to put the link in there. But yeah, so a couple of days later, it just hit me when we went to Catawba Falls, and we climbed this massive rock formation, and like had to deal with a lot of fear of that situation. We're climbing up slippery rocks, and like it was scary. It was really scary. Like we're climbing up like straight cliffs in the rain. It's like it's wet, it's muddy. There's it's slippery as fuck, and there's no
Yeah.
rope there. There used to be a guide rope that you could just hang onto and climb up, and that was somebody took it down. It wasn't there anymore, and we still decided to go. I'm like, fuck it, we're here. We already walked them like 1.2 miles out here, and there's another waterfall up there. We're gonna see it. So that was an amazing experience. That was later. Mark said this. This was like the fire walk of the mountains, and it's absolutely right. It's very similar to like walking on that fire, like we did in Indiana at Wolf Creek. We walked on that fire.
Yeah.
You realize like how powerful you are and the different level of things. And this whole experience was
Right.
exactly that in the mountain. It was like climbing the mountains and seeing it and having that reward of and you know, it was really intense, dude. Like really fucking intense. Like we were climbing down through trees, like literally going off the side of a cliff and scaling down the cliff by hanging onto trees and roots, because you climbing down the rocks was way too dangerous because it was straight up. You know what I mean? And it just
Yeah.
had little jagged cliffs. I mean, there was footholds. If you were, you know, professional rock climber, probably wouldn't be bad. But we didn't have any anchors. We didn't have any safety lines or anything. We were just fucking climbing. So we climbed down through the trees, and like, you know, I had muscles I didn't even know were there that were sore for like the next 4 days after that. It was a wild experience. But anyways, after that, I had just had like this idea, this intuition, and I sent Ben a text. I'm like, dude, like we should record one of your performances or something. Like I'll record it for you and I'll edit it, and I think that would be really cool because he seems like a really cool dude, and I like his music. So we might be doing that in the near future. I told him I'd you know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. A little side note, like, you know, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so into that. I really do like shooting videos and editing, and I'm learning about it too. So it's like, hey, we can figure this out. I'll learn some new things. We'll add some shit here and do that, and you know, doing the same thing with my videos. Like I want to do, you know, an introduction video with music and just creating all these things. And you know, I worked on some
There
of
you go.
that down there in Asheville at Mark's place. He's got a little setup to do that. But anyways, yeah. So
What's he got?
what's that?
An editing station? What's he got? An
No,
editing
he's got a
station?
keyboard.
Oh.
He's like a synthesizer. You know, you can mix all the different tunes and things.
Ah.
So yeah, you can like set it up to a computer and kind of record it and lay down a soundtrack. I got a couple little soundtracks that we messed around with, but I don't know if I'm gonna use them. I gotta go through the whole editing process on that too.
Dig.
But yeah.
Yeah. Dig it.
Wild ride, man. Wild
Yes.
ride.
Well, you guys need to get a place so we can come sleep on your floor.
Yeah.
You know us,
Yeah,
sleep
man.
on floors. We'll sleep in the yard, wherever.
Yeah. I mean, I got a nice tent, dude. I mean, I got a real nice tent.
We got tents.
Yeah. Cool. Love a little tent.
You know how we
I
roll.
was talking to Mark, and you know, the Hobbit House down there is really awesome, and it was made from the clay in the ground there. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I would love to have a community of houses like that.
No shit.
And he was telling me of this place that people pay like $1,000 to go somewhere for like a week and to learn how to do that. But they're actually like building the houses for that business or community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they're paying to build and learn. I'm like, we could do that. I was like,
So what do you think about that yurt? Was that yurt pretty functional or?
but Mark's yurt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he did it
So,
all
like,
himself.
what
He
is,
built the whole thing himself
24?
with a lot of pallets. He used a lot of pallets in a lot of clever ways.
So is it like a 24-foot circle or octagon or?
Something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, it's a circle. It's a circle with like a dome kind of piece going up to it. It's really simple, but effective. You know, it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see communities out there, man, with little buildings like that or little buildings. Hey, to create a community like that where you would have small, and each little building would just be small enough, big enough. All you need is just a small wood burner in it.
Yep.
Then have all your solar panels just out of view on the other side of, like a hedgerow or whatever, but have them to that whole little community. Everybody would be connected to that same grid, and then work it out. And then solar water, that's easy. You could have a black hose. You can lay a black hose, 200, 300 feet of black hose out in the sun.
Yeah.
Fuck, you'll have
solar
hundreds
shower
of
kind of
gallons.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. It'll
Well,
boil your
they have just one solar panel that powers the lights for the Hobbit House, and they have a small setup for their house too, and it's plenty. Everyone could have their own separate grid of just one or two things. You know what I mean?
That's what I sort of feel like. This is all starting, or I feel like we're all coming together and all these things, because I feel like that's where this is going, dude. I really feel like there's going to be a piece of property and we're all going to be a little community down the road. I don't know why, but I don't just have this feeling about that, and it seems to be that's the area.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait for you to come down and hang out, and we'll all get together and see how the synchronicities. It really blows my mind. Like, if you think about the chances of that happening with all those little pieces coming together over this summer, and those relationships culminating into what it was, and how I was able to meet up through you, the people everyone I met on this Vision Quest, I had met through my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, actually,
I haven't even had the channel for a year.
Yeah, I was going to actually everything. If you really did everything, I was going to do a video about this. What is the reconnection really? What is really being reconnected? Because all these relationships come from the reconnection. That's the seed where this tree has grown from. I'm telling you right now, if you go back and look at every single, it's like, wow, this person here was, knew that person there from the reconnection, or this person here. To me, that's what's the common, that's the common thread here. And I was wanting to do a video on that, because everybody that I'm meeting, and I'm meeting other people outside of this clique. I've got other things going on. I got people going on. I got shit going on with people over in England. I got places I can go. There's these little networks of people that I feel like I've known, like, for lifetimes, like, just so comfortable and familiar, so, like, I just know them. It's like home, Yeah, and it's like, and I trust in them already. I already have this, like, feel like I have this, like, I know I can trust them, and I don't feel that way with people. I never have that sight. It takes a while for somebody to earn that, kind of feeling with me. And I automatically have this, like, easiness, or this, just, I can't describe it, man. It's just like I know them, and I'm like, I'm good with it. I know them. They're good. I can feel it. I know it. I can feel it because they're on my frequency. They're on my frequency.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Good stuff. Awesome. Good stuff, man.
That is great. Yeah.
But, my channel's a year old. I was going to do, I should have did it a week ago, but it was a week ago that it was, maybe 2 weeks ago that it became a year old. And same with my reconnection, which I'm getting ready to do a video today or tomorrow. I'm getting back on it. I completely got off YouTube. I completely got off social stuff. I just kind of like, I've been trying to, because it's kind of like, it steers me this direction. Next thing you know, I'm following that. Then I'm on this path, and I'm doing, and I didn't want any distractions. I wanted to just, like, think and just kind of gather my thoughts about myself, because I'm trying to figure out, like I told you earlier about those 3 questions. If you could do anything you wanted, what would you really do?
Well, let's end the show with those questions.
Okay.
Like asking the questions to our viewers here, and I want you all to think about this and answer these questions for yourselves, and leave it in the comments below if you feel like sharing.
I think this is called the Siddha Veda. But if you knew you couldn't fail and you were going to succeed at whatever you did, what would you do or be? If you knew you had $100 million in the bank, what would you do or be? If you knew you only had 6 months to live, 6 months left to live, what would you do or be? You know what I mean? at first, I had a bunch of answers that, like, oh, that's a good one, but oh, I'd also like to be this, and that's a good one. But then when you get down to it, and you start really peeling that back and peeling that back. If you really, what would you really, 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 if you could be anything? Would you save millions of lives? Would you be a billion just frothing at the mouth with money, billionaire? Would you touch people and heal them? What would you do? What would you be? Would you be a president? Would you be a king? Would you be, a God? Would you be a Jesus? What would you really, what, if your imagination, what would you really, because I know there's a lot of things I'd settle for that I love to be, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what would I really, really choose if I had to choose? That's kind of weird. Kind of weird that I can't come. I know I can't. I don't know. Maybe you can, but I haven't nailed it down yet. So what? I know there's a lot of things, a lot of things, but
Yeah.
what would be
to have
the
that
one
one thing that you would pick and do? It's like,
Yeah.
and I like that we started talking about this earlier, but I wanted to save it for this video. But it's like we associate with our identities so much, and then when that gets broken down through this awakening process, it's like, okay, now what? Like
Yeah.
we were doing things for other people sometimes. At least I was doing things that other people wanted me to do, that made other people happy. Like I didn't do it for myself. So I had to really think and sit with, and what do I like to do? What do I enjoy? What brings me happiness? I
Right.
didn't know. So I really had
Yeah.
to do that. And I like those questions because it kind of makes you do that.
Yeah.
If you want to be something other than you are right now, then really look at that and try to figure out how to become that, how to embody
Yeah.
that, and
Right.
you don't need the money to do it. It's like, but the money question is like, that will solidify in your mind. Like if you didn't worry or need for anything, this is what you would be and this is what you would do. Then boom, you
Yeah.
got it. That's what you
Right.
want to do. Then go after it.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I'm doing what I wanted to do, and this is what I wanted to do, and that's like I want to learn how to make more money doing what I do, so I can literally do this for a living and help more people,
Right.
and continue supporting myself and paying all the things that I have to pay in the matrix world. So
Well,
that's my journey. That's what I'm learning, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's what I am figuring out.
right. And you don't have to, I don't think you have to have that whole answer right away. I think you can build, and what do I want today? And as things build into, and just go with what do I want for me today? Well, and
What brings
start
me
there
joy
and kind of
today?
move your way in. Right. And just kind of move into that, that mindset that, because you have to have a vision, like as we go along, like as I go along. And I know that I was telling you earlier that I feel like I'm dissolving, like what I was, what I have been, my ego, my personality, my persona, my facade, this character in this play, as I've have felt that it's like, as I've become aware, that is, that it's a facade, that it's a character, that's somebody you've created. As that dissolves though, and you realize that that's what it is, a character, and then you realize that, hey, I can be a cowboy. I can stop right now and change midstream and be anything but you have to have a vision. That's why those questions are like, and I was telling you, about that check, the money, when a lot of us know that we want to do this. Well, I just want to be happy. Well, what makes you happy? You have to see it. You have to see it for it to come to you. You have to be able to vision. If you want a red apple, you can say I want fruit, but what's really, nothing's really got. You have to know that I want a red, juicy apple. And that's when, now there's, now you have a vision of what you want. Now it's there. That vision is there.
Yeah.
Something you have to go after. You have to have that vision, man. And that's where I'm sort of at. I'm sort of in this lull, because as I've dissolved, as I feel like I've dissolved, I've also gotten this kind of like a fuck it attitude where I don't give a fuck about shit. I don't know what it is. And it's like, You know, it was I used to be so obsessive, like I would force myself, like I would think about something, and then I would make myself have to do that, like, I got to do that, and I would force myself to do, you know. And now I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. If it's meant to be, you know, I've got this. So I'm like treading this line of where, you know, should I be so complacent, laid back about it? It seems like I'm going nowhere, you know, being like that. And I want to go somewhere, you know, but where do I want to go, you know? So, and I think a lot of us have that problem. That's the problem. That's the problem with manifesting. That's the problem with the law of attraction is we don't have a vision, that red apple, you know. We just think, I want some fruit or I want something sweet, you know. Have a vision of, you know. And like I told you, you know, I've manifested a few things by seeing it, and then the next day there it is. So yeah, you've got to be like that, man. You got to see it. You got to know what you want. You got to know what you want, and a lot of us don't. I'm included. Because the sky's the limit when you start to think like that. You know, you're like, wow, there's a lot of options.
Yes.
You don't have to settle.
Yeah. It's like you don't have to settle for any one thing, but you to find that main thing that brings you joy, and then it'll have so many other substations to it. You know, and so many other. It's like an umbrella of all the things. Like for conscious evolution, that's the umbrella to everything that I want to do, and I want to have it all under this umbrella of conscious evolution. And you know, that's my vision. That's my journey. That's what I want in my life, and that's what I have, and that I continue working on relentlessly. But anyways, yeah, we're at an hour and 21 minutes. This was a great show. We talked a lot. We got a lot of information about my story and synchronicities. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below. Please leave a like if you're still here. Thank you for listening to the whole video.
Yes, thank you
so much. You know, go to Bonesy's channel too. Don't forget to go there and subscribe to his channel.
I love you.
I love you. Love. He's getting back on the horse and making them videos.
Yeah.
For artistic guy, he does great video work. I love it. And it amazes me he does all this shit on his phone. I don't know how he does that. I haven't figured that out yet, but it's great. It's great stuff. So check out that channel. Show him some love. Show us some love here. Hit the like button. Leave a comment below about, you know, what you think about this. Answers to the questions we asked. What do you want to be in your life if you had all these things? And yeah.
Be the change.
Be the change that you want to see.
You. Oh, you're beautiful, man.
Be the love that you want to see. Embody that love. And love yourself.
Yep. Yes. You're one in a trillion. Yep. Love.
Yeah. Love. When we said that, it was 22 on the thing. Perfect.
Was it?
All right, guys. Bye-bye.